This is a part 2 video on the discussion I had in my previous video related to the circumstances that could have led to the Punjab girl's death after eating a cake. And while the investigation has shown that saccharin consumption might have been the cause from a cake with a high saccharin content, which is something many bakeries across the world should look into whenever they are replacing their bakery ingredients from sugar into any sugar substitute, as to what is the appropriate content level of the sugar substitute they should be using for your baking. Similarly, even at home life, sometimes families want to substitute recipes. At that time also, you should be careful about what you are substituting, how you are substituting it. And finally, there is another element. Anyone who is investigating cases related to unusual death or sudden death or poisoning related death related issues, understand that there are antisocial personalities in the world who don't normally think like how normal people think. And because they are antisocial personalities, and sometimes antisocial personalities do not get diagnosed easily in the world, because the real high IQ antisocial personalities have a lot of emotional intelligence as well as intellectual intelligence. They don't feel emotionally, but their intelligence level about understanding other people's emotions can be really high. So those people who may or may not feel emotionally something deeply about another person, or those who are like narcissistic personalities, they may only feel emotions about themselves but not about others. In all these people's cases, because they have some emotional disconnect related issues and their brain works in a very divergent way than normal adults will think about and feel and do things about taking care of others, these personality types have the opposite personality, where they do not want to take care of others, do not want to take accountability that they are bad at taking care of others. And if they are high level intellectual, they will hide the truth in such a way that they will slowly covertly manipulate a person towards death after watching videos like mine. So there is a very big issue with what I'm discussing here as well, because the more and the only reason I'm discussing this is not because I watch toxic stuff or I watch toxic poisoning related movies and videos. In fact, I'm the kind of personality who, anytime there is darkness related media content, in really darkness related, not the part light part dark content, but real darkness related content are out there in the media globally, which can completely scramble and distort someone's perception about what is good conscious choices, what are bad choices in life. And that also plays a role in developing someone's characteristic of toxic personality traits. Because if you, the more you consume, whatever you consume, you can become aligned with what you are consuming. And then when you are consuming something, if you do not have a clear attitude, clear intention, clear heart and brain connection, with other humans in your life, again, if the clear connection, valid connection, respectful connection, and soul level things are missing from your attitude in how you behave with others, at the time also these kind of people will watch these videos. They will watch dark media videos as well as informative videos if they are highly intellectual, and then they will use those information to, even if they have never studied that subject, they'll go and use that information to create harm in their personal life because of multiple reasons. Because if they are Munchausen's by proxy like person, they will go and poison their family slowly using these video information. And then not only slowly poison their family, they want to either kill their family, because if the family has found out they are mentally ill, they don't want their truth to come out if they are narcissistic and MBSP and antisocial. If they are only MBSP, they just want someone to continuously stay ill because they want to have a purpose with everyone being ill. That is also a problem, and that's why you can't go towards a better earth, better lifestyle choice, better healed family life, better healed personal connections in your life if you continuously keep forgiving those who are deliberately making some choices to harm others, or if you don't develop the capacity only to discern where deliberate harm is going on, where inadvertent harm was going on, where manipulation of harm was going on. And I have a case that I had made a video about, but because of some abuse related conditions of my life, that video got deleted. I also got guided to delete it because maybe some additional information I needed to first present in my videos before I can discuss that particular case, because it's a very complex case. And while I understand the complexity of the case, if I discuss the complexity of the case online, it will jeopardize certain things related to the case. And there are many cases like that which I would actually want to discuss at a very deep level, where I understand what is going on there. But it would be better if the people who are investigating such cases would get in connection with me instead of me discussing it publicly, because then what happens is, if it goes into public media or the public sphere, antisocial personalities use that kind of a knowledge to then create more and more harm. Because this is the whole problem with knowledge. Knowledge gained becomes a beautiful thing and a useful thing and a health efficient thing, and a lot of beautiful things can unfold with the knowledge gained when the knowledge is given to the right person, when the right person knows how to apply the knowledge in the right way, when a right and mindful person uses the knowledge for doing the right things in life. Whereas right meaning relevant, aligned, balanced things of life. Whereas there are many people who are not aligned in life, who are not balanced in life, who don't have balanced health, who have not created a balanced mental status to process the information in a balanced way. So when they are given the same information that a balanced person is given, they make imbalanced choices out of information that is meant to create good, and which is definitely a duality of life, that in every good you want to do, there will always be an inherent harm. But if I don't recognize as a balanced person that the good I'm doing has an inherent harm, that harm can never be checked or harm can never be stopped. And this is important currently on Earth's existence, because a lot of harm is going on. Every time you will see a downtime phase happen on earthly life related to health or family life or social life, financial life, or all elements of living, every time there is a deep down phase going on, either at an individual level or at a multiple mass collective level. It happens because people have forgotten how to understand that what they perceived as good can at some point of time may not really be good, or that good can also be twisted as bad. And I want to talk about antisocial personality because it is also possible that, let's say in this family, not in this family's case, because again when I'm discussing this girl's scenario and I'm going to make at least 3 videos about her, understand that it is not person specific at all, it is a case specific discussion I'm making, because the case specific discussion is related to what are the potential things that could have unfolded in her life, not the specific thing that definitely unfolded in her life, and potential things that could be unfolding in another child's life mirroring this case. Meaning there could be another girl who can die potentially in the future, 10 years later, 2 years later, or in another country with similar circumstances as her. And if say someone is that person's step mother, who wants that child to die because that child has a lot of property in her name, that stepmother, or if not stepmother, I made stepmother because we all understand evil stepmothers, but there could be stepfathers who could be evil. There could be people pretending to be a child's caretaker, who was given a child to raise the child until, like a guardian, who was given a child to raise them until 18 years of age, and in that 18 years of age they've messed up that child's life, but because the child might have some property in their name that they don't know about, because the guardian never notified them, or the parent never notified them, or a step parent never notified them that there was something that was there in their future that they were meant to receive as a future benefit for whatever their parents had left for them. And now if some people like that are present in a child's life, and they have greed motivations going, they know that if the child dies, that property will come to them because they are the next in line for getting that property, or they are related, so they will equally distribute that property amongst themselves. These kind of things happen to many children globally without those children realizing this is happening to them. And I believe that something like this, maybe it was related to property, maybe it was related to something else in my life that has been playing around in the background of my life that I don't understand, because I can't when you are the victim of some circumstance, you don't have the energy itself to fight and find all the details about what is going on in your life. But you can't also survive through what you're going through if you don't have some intuitive insights about what you're going through to at least escape or release from the most imminent danger thing in your life. So like that, there are children who could be in caretaking, been done by a nanny or someone who they trust, or someone who they think is their parent but is not really their parent, or someone who is their step parent but the child doesn't even know this person is their step parent. All of these can unfold in another child's life, where someone after seeing this Punjab girls video can end up, deliberately poisoning their cakes and blaming someone else as the poisoner, because those kind of people also exist. People who know how to manipulate, who will get someone else to bake a cake in order to maybe the mother is still involved in a child's life, and the mother but it is hidden from the child that the mother is the real mother and the other person is the stepmother, and they want to blame the mother as the person poisoning the child. So someone can do that they will make the mother bake a cake and then put something in the cake which the mother gave the child, but blame the mother for the poisoning of the child, when the person involved in poisoning the child was, after listening to a video like mine, a antisocial personality, a manipulative personality who wants to blame the mother when the real person actually harming the child is someone else. And that's why the critical discernment about who is the personality type who does these kind of harm is also necessary, and also what drives a particular kind of harm, that discernment is also necessary. Because again, if in baking, someone who is baking a cake inadvertently without cluelessness and lack of knowledge, you can change that person's lack of knowledge into giving them the right knowledge, training them the right way, which is also what something needs to unfold in India and globally, that you have to have right training about now the ingredients. There are enough chefs in the world, enough cooking interested people in the world, enough bakers in the world, enough bakeries in the world now who have been following a certain particular type of paradigm of baking and cooking skills related to simple thing like making a cake. But in that also, while there are people who are home chefs, we have all these master chef shows, right? And why is a master chef like show been created? In master chef you are learning, you are also experiencing via TVs the different kinds of chefs that exist in the world. The chef who has self-taught, the chef who went partly to culinary school, the chef who's very instinctive, the chef who opens a book and studies a recipe thoroughly to make something, the chef who intuitively does something. So there are all these different, and someone who goes in a 5-star Michelin restaurant and becomes a big businessman, someone who doesn't want to become a big businessman, just wants to open a local bakery. All these different level of chefs are there in the world, and different level cooks are also there in the world. And we in the shows we get to see only the positive side of such people, or the positive traits related to the cooking skills they are developing. But some of these people can also be very deliberately harming towards others. So if you don't understand personality type, how will you detect that? If you are hiring, like let's say you are a businessman and you want to hire 10 chefs for your franchise, 10 different franchises, and in 10 different franchises, if you don't realize who is a conscientious worker, mindful worker ready to learn how to change, if change is required in your work, will your business thrive? Even if your business is making a lot of money on the outside and on paper, in reality your business is actually not thriving, because you've not set up the steps only for thriving, because you didn't hire those people who will bring the thriving conditions in your business. And this is the deeper level thing you understand when you become richer and richer, or you expand your business, or when you have become from a small business owner to a large one. Same way with the family also, when a mother is taking care of one child and then expands into taking care of two, or they have one child, earlier they had one child they had to take care of, now because the parents are aging they have a child and two parents to take care of. or if they don't have any children but there is a couple who wants to do some social good, again you are supposed to evolve in life, not simply monetarily, not simply socioeconomically, or the number of assets you possess in life. That is a very limited paradigm of those who are stuck in the lower vibrational energies about living. But if you want to progress in life, evolve in life, you don't get stuck in those lower energies, and that is when you start learning what are the deeper elements needed for success in life. It's not simply about the money, it's not simply about the gifts you give to someone, it is not simply about how you if you have seen everyone celebrate with a cake, you have to also celebrate with a cake. No, you have to also, if you really want to bring good quality at the simplest family level, if any family wants to celebrate now cake celebrations in their life, the best quality of life will ensue in that family's life who understands my video at the right level, with the right intentions, and now start step by step following the right things needed to bring the best quality life for their family. And that can be a real poor family also who is baking a cake from scratch in their own home. It can be an ultra rich family who's buying like 10,000 cakes for a big group of, if they are a multimillionaire and they own a big company and they want to gift cakes to every employee for celebrating their grandkids birthday or their kids wedding anniversary or something. When they want to explore this celebratory aspect, from the smallest less rich person to a richest ultra rich, the top richest person in a country, everyone has to understand the implications of bad quality ingredients in the market, bad quality products in the market, discern between what is good quality, bad quality, discern why good quality is not simply important for the rich to have but also for the poor to have, and only a rich person can provide to the poor a good quality product when the poor person doesn't have that many resources to gain that poor quality product. That is the whole purpose why the rich exist and the poor exist in the world. The socioeconomic disparity has to exist for certain reasons related to bringing balance and understanding life lessons. But if you are a sociologist or psychologist working on these socioeconomic issues, you will understand this, that when there is a lot of socioeconomic disparity in any country, that's when revolution, war unfolds in those countries. If you have looked at history, this is what you're meant to learn from history. The socioeconomic distress that was happening, the socioeconomic stress factors that were created by people who could have done better but were not doing better because they were simply enjoying their life, not mindfully doing even the simplest work they have been taught to do or they are responsible for doing. Because when you are a poor person with only responsibility towards a smaller minor level, or a person who's like a lower level employee in your company, at a lower employee level, you are responsible for interacting and communicating with 4-5 individuals in your company, 4-5 people with whom you are socializing and collaborating and interacting at your day-to-day work life at a minor level of a company's level, right? But the more you get higher and higher up in the company's hierarchy, you get the position to now oversee 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people. But your degree of ability to oversee all those people also means you have to understand human nature, you have to understand who is a good employee, where effectively to put the employee in the right place. If you're doing that mindfully, some people can get progress in their life just because they've targeted that as a progress. They want to manifest that as a progress in their life. But that doesn't mean that just because you went up the corporate ladder that you were really capable of understanding all elements. You had the potential, that's why God might have given you to go up the corporate ladder, or there was some other ancillary life purpose associated with you going up a corporate ladder related to your life purpose and other things going on in your life. But whatever was the reason for someone's success, and this is what people fail to see, someone can get successful if they have God can provide them success maybe because they have a lot of dependents. Someone else can have a lot of success because they are intellectually very capable. Someone else can have a success because they have exactly that quality that the company needs at that time for them to have that success. So everyone gets their success for different reasons. But what you get as a material success is not necessarily the real social life success or life purpose related success of your life. And that is what, even in this simplest video about eating a cake, is what I want people to learn also from what I'm describing. Because from making a cake for a child itself, whether at an individual level or at a mass scale level, for one child or multiple children or multiple people consuming your product, at all these levels, whichever level you are functioning in, you have to have the responsible functionality associated with your work and responsible accountability related to your work. And if you hire people or bring people in your workplace who do not have that responsible accountability, responsible caretaking elements, responsible understanding element related to the higher purpose related to their work, they will botch up work greatly or small scale, depending on how much problems are present in that thing. And in the first video, I was just talking about how much a cake can be messed up, related to all the experiences related to cake mess ups only. I have experienced in the last few years when consuming cakes occasionally as a customer, not just in Mumbai. I live in Navi Mumbai, but I have experienced it while traveling across different cities of India as well. I've used a lot of online apps for buying food products, online grocery related apps, online restaurant related apps, and or even stayed in hospitality industries to understand this problem of different food industry related matters that I have discussed in many of my videos. But here I'm wanting to focus more on the social aspect, socio-economic aspect as well, because social and socio-economic aspects are ruling the picture when people go and, like, you could have gone and bought like a cocoa powder from a manufacturer who decides that if the regulations say only 1% of paint particle is allowed, that is a regulation thing that has been said by a Food and Drug Administration, because if accidental exposure to paint happens or something, that's why they have mentioned that 1% is allowed. But some people use that 1% as a deliberate thing, and they will add 1% paint in it because it will make the cocoa powder cheaper, and then they can sell a lot of cocoa powder to someone at a cheaper rate and get a tender for selling it. So that's where it becomes a bad business practice, because you're not realizing to make a few for them it might be millions of rupees of profit or lakhs of rupees of profit. That I don't know how much profit they are making, but the level of profit they are making is also the level of harm they have created, and responsibility and accountability for that harm that now they have created, either deliberately or inadvertently. Some people have created it inadvertently, some people have created it deliberately, and both of those people have to be distinguished, and then right interventions have to be brought into place where inadvertent or deliberate harm is going on. When deliberate harm is going on, you have to hold them accountable at a legal level and other socioeconomic levels. And when inadvertent harm is going on, you have to understand that your industry doesn't have the right training right now. People in their home life doesn't have the right training and understanding about the level of crap that is going on earth. Literal crap is going on earth right now. Literal crap that is making us sicker and sicker. The data of a sickness driven society has been emerging in the most prosperous country. One of the most prosperous countries of the world is US, where healthcare related funding is also the highest in the world. And because healthcare related funding is highest, there have been healthcare researchers, healthcare workers who have also diligently worked on multiple aspects of health to already know where health is fucked up and messed up. But after you have gathered the data of where health is fucked up and messed up, you also need someone to practically now bring it into your practical sphere of life, where it is messed up, how it is messed up, and how not to mess it up, how, if it is messed up, to cure it, and when someone is messing it up deliberately, how to work through that. All these are the level of work you have to do, and these are all relevant phases of work. So while in US especially, I'll talk about that because suddenly this video became a socio-economic issue related thing. But in US now, when few years back I was working in US, and some of my friends were in healthcare research, and they used to apply for federal grants. My professors also used to apply for federal grants, so I know that this was an issue, that federal grants were drying up for research work. Why is federal grants drying up for research work? People are not understanding a lot of irrelevant and inappropriate research work was being done. And that's why again critical discernment about research work has to emerge. So anytime funding dries up for any field or socioeconomic collapse happens in any field, that socioeconomic collapse or even personal health collapse happens in someone's simple home life, all of these are driven by factors related to lack of understanding about the depth at which something is messed up. And that's why I'm making this video, because here mess up is happening at a grand scale related to business practices. Mess up is happening in the grand scale related to the whole supply chain of food industry related practices, where the girls example is only one example. Like that, actually many people have died all across India and other countries of the world globally without realizing that their death was from environmental conditions, preventable environmental conditions. But it can only be preventable when you start first acknowledging that these are the things that are harmful for us. If I perceive, and now I will bring the food coloring element back, because that is the next video I wanted to make. So with food coloring, while in the past, in the previous video also I explained in the tail end of the video that when you have only a drop of food coloring, and when I'm only consuming maybe one laddu in many months where a little bit of food coloring is there, obviously it's not going to be toxic and harmful to me. But being a toxicology student, I've done toxicology research in my master's experience in US, and I know that that same thing that is very beneficial for me in one drop, and I didn't do it with food coloring, it was some other experiment I had done as a part of my research work. But in that research work, our research work was designed to see what happens to humans when you consume it in larger amounts than normal. So like how in this girl's case, saccharin in larger amounts was toxicologically harmful to her health, led to her organ damage and failure related death, or multiple organ failure related death might have happened with her. That if they have done a thorough postmortem, they will understand. If they still have her blood samples, even more data could be gathered from those blood samples. If they even gather the local environmental condition related food quality, air quality, water quality related parameters of their life, even more data can be understood related to all the factors that actually contributed towards her health status weakening and then her death, which is important to understand, because every time a death occurs, the more deeply and thoroughly and truly you understand it, then only you can truly help other people who are still surviving in those same socioeconomic conditions, with those same social choices, with those same lifestyle choices. So if earlier 30 years back as a child I used to only consume one laddu a year with a little bit of orange or yellow coloring or orange yellow green coloring, I would have no health issue because I'm only consuming a little bit of food coloring. But that food coloring based laddu, now I live in a family where every day we are consuming laddu, and every day I'm consuming that food coloring. If that food coloring is indeed toxic at a higher levels, then of course, even if FDA says this is a safe product, the time when my body is not going to be able to process that product anymore, or has some health issues going on where high degree of that product will be harmful for me, that is the day when I will have a health harm. I may get cancer, I may get organ damage, I may get death like that girl did. And that's why only understanding food coloring related issues is a important thing. And it is not simply an important thing in the food industry, it is, or like baking goods industry, because we all evidently know that when you buy a baked cookie or a baked colorful cookie or a colorful Indian sweet or a colorful cake like dessert or a colorful ice cream, those are very evidently colorful to us, right? And we have seen baking videos and cooking videos or industrial videos of how chocolate making and all these things are done. We might have visited a chocolate factory, cake making factory. All these life experiences many of us have gathered during our life experience on earth currently, or we can watch a YouTube video on it if we want to gain that life experience. Okay, so you don't need to be a person in the food industry to know this knowledge that I'm getting, or in the pharmaceutical industry to understand this knowledge that I am giving in this video. But now, having seen how these cakes are made, we evidently see that high level of coloring has been added to any cake that I eat which is brightly colored. If I eat a blue colored cake, it obviously has blue color. I know that. If I have eaten a red colored cake, it has red coloring in it. If I have eaten a brown colored cake, it has now it should ideally technically only come from cocoa, which is a natural plant product. But if some food adulteration or deliberate adulteration is going on, deliberate harm is going on, they can add now toxin to it. With turmeric, we have seen in India, past articles have come up about turmeric, where turmeric related food adulteration was going on in India. I've worked in the pharmaceutical industry in India. Worked meaning I was a pharmacy student in India. I worked very briefly in pharmacy related practices in India, but like at a level which people will ignore as my life experience, but it was a relevant life and work experience for me. And in those experiences, based on what I learned in my pharmacy school itself, there only we have learned a lot of food adulteration related things that can go wrong in food adulteration related practices, drug adulteration related practices as well. And herein now comes the second part of food coloring related issues, because food colors, while we all know evidently can be used in desserts and in our cakes and sweets, can also be used technically and are also technically food adulteration related, coloring related things are going on in India with our spices as well. So you will see those spices with and I have observed with spices, the red spices that are used in either Chinese food in India. I have observed this. Globally, I don't know what is going on here, but Indian, Chinese, and in recent years I observed, because my health was deteriorating. So when your health is deteriorating, you are the more sensitive individual than someone who has a peak of health. And when you are more sensitive, even smaller degrees of toxins will end up now harming your health. So I've understood from my health decline only that when I was consuming, which earlier I didn't understand, because I had consumed these products possibly in US as well, possibly as a child as well, but at that time my fitness level was better or the food adulteration level was lesser. Either of those factors or both of those factors meant that at that time I didn't experience this, or it wasn't a health concern. But in recent years, when I have consumed red colored food coloring that is used in chole masala or Punjabi food, or red coloring that is used in Chinese food,